So what I'm going to do is to hedge off the positions to actually sell or buy on the gold price, and also to hedge off on the USD currency. Okay. So let me kickstart with the slide today. Okay. This is the overview. I'm going to touch on later on a short disclaimer, introductions to ACE Capital Growth, and fundamental of physical gold in Malaysia, locally Malaysia and international, globally, market outlook for gold, gold methodology, and then I'm going to have a short video going to show you all about the refining scrap gold into a fine gold. Actually, I dispatched my colleague to bring some gold bar to here, but they are not here yet. So hopefully they will be here shortly, so they'll be able to show you and touch on the real gold bar. Okay. Just let me switch on to the microphone. Hello. Okay. Let's go for a short disclaimer. The intention of this seminar is actually trying to share knowledge sharing purposes and also for educational. So this seminar, I do not intend to actually entice, to influence or solicitate you all to enter into trade, especially on FGLD, to short or to long. Since I'm a trader itself, I can't avoid that when to leads to certain slides, I would say this area is actually good to sell or good to buy, but that one does not mean to give you all hints or tips. You know, next week you go and short the FGLD. Okay, so any past performance is not a future indicative result. So this is a short disclaimer for ACE Capital side. Okay, our background, like why ACE Capital is here. ACE Capital is actually a gold physical trading company. So what we do is we actually trade physical gold only. So what we do is we buy gold, we buy scrap gold, and we actually sell it to the local market. Because of the expansions of our business and also increase in customer base, we also provide our own gold trading platform, which is only available for our customer. It's not for the mass market. So what we do is we do scrap bar, minted bar, LBMO bar. So this is what we do to the gold industry players. Like for example, we sell to manufacturers, gold jewelries, and also to all the pawn shop. We also buy this gold from them. So this is our business base. And important of all, we are also the market maker for Bursa Malaysia FGLD. So what we do is we do the codes for the FGLD, so that it's not deviate too much from the market, and also allow liquidity so that you can actually get in and also get out at the same time. Okay, ACE Capital Growth also already approved for this proposed listing under ACE Innovate Asia. So for anyone of you who would like to get to know about us, you can just go to this Bursa Malaysia website. Actually type on the code ACE INO, then you can read on our information memorandum. So any of you would like to know more about this, you can also look for our Chief Financial Marketing Officer, Mr. Fung, about this. Alright, let me start with this gold industry value change. Usually in gold, right, the physical side usually is come from the mine side and also recycled gold. When we talk about recycled gold, for example, like from electronics products, jewelries from scraps, those are the recycled to supply into the trading and refining process. Then in the trading and refining process, whereby we trade the gold with the prices. And then we also supply to the consumption side, which is usually central bank, electronics for dentistry. And then we have indirect, direct investment, bullion trading, and also jewelry manufacturing and retail. So this is a simple gold industry value change. So ACE Capital itself actually inside this range. Okay, so we buy and sell at the same time. So we also hope that to be able to gauge into the mine market, because there's a huge volume, especially in the Kelantan, Pahang, and Terengganu area. Okay, this is the ACE Capital Growth website. We are actually showing daily pricing. It's indicated by ringgit per price per grams. So for those who are interested, you can actually go to our website so that we show a daily. This is a spot price, and also we have this news and events. We also display our own daily gold news. For those interested, can just access from there. Okay, this is for photo showing. This is called scrap gold. Okay, it's actually melts from the jewelries and also from the mine side. And this is gold bar, so-called the pure gold, 9999. and this is a minted gold bar. Usually in a very small denomination, 1 gram, 2.5 gram, 5 grams, 100 grams. And nowadays the trend is a lot of people actually buy this for gift and also for, because it's a small denomination so that you can afford very easily. Alright, let's start with this Malaysian gold market. So in Malaysia wise, what kind of gold you can buy, where to buy gold. Okay, first of all, you can actually buy like jewelry types, gold bar, gold coin, gold investment. Okay. Gold investment account usually offered by banks. There are two types. Usually one is paper gold, and another one is come with a physical bag gold, where you can do a redemptions by paying a small sum of premium. Okay. And major domestic production usually in, as I mentioned just now, Pahang, Kelantan, and Terengganu area. And Malaysia is very famous of 916 purity, especially the jewelry types. So a lot of production actually from Penang. So what they do actually, they export to Middle East, especially in the Dubai side, and also Singapore and Thailand. Okay. And then in terms of gold bar, 24 carats, which is 9999 gold bar. And then as mentioned, small purity. It's actually available at Malaysian jewelry shop, retailer shops, and also banks. And then famous of the coins wise would be the Kijang emas and also dinar. Dinar is actually very special because it's 1 dinar representing 4.25 grams. Usually you can use it to pay zakat or dowry in the Islamic concept. Actually it's very nice actually. We also do sell on our website, I mean on the Lazada. Okay. Gold investment accounts. Okay. For this, usually as offered by bank, I'm going to do some elaborations with some this chart in a short while. And important of all, you can buy gold through FGLD. But of course, this is a paper gold. But because of this EFRP, exchange for related position, allow you to exchange into physical gold. So this is a very convenient process which will be elaborated by Ms. Vivian shortly. Okay, this is information that we actually do some research by our business development team on the 4th of July. As you can see here, we call to Pokong, Tome, and Habib. We do some comparison in terms of the gold spread. Okay, let's say I want to buy a 5 gram price, okay, which is at this rate, about 2,380, and then you can see the spread per gram. It's about 49 ringgit.60 cents. So if I buy now, I want to sell back. So that's the spread. That's the spread. Okay, and then we compare to Tome, okay, and also Habib. You can see that the small denominations, usually the spread is higher because of the workmanship you need to pay in order to create a very small volume of this minted bar. But if you go for like kilo bar, right, usually the spread is narrow. Okay. Alright, this is a gold investment account, paper gold spread. We also do some comparison, we make some research. This is the spread for you to actually buy gold in Malaysia. Okay, let's say right now UOB Bank is actually selling at 182.30 cents. That for you to actually sell back is 178.2. So this is the spreads in the market right now, and as of 18 June of 2019. Okay, some other bank actually offer this with a physical bag. For example, Bank Momalat. Okay, it's actually offering a physical where you can redeem the physical. But those are not physical bags, so which means it's by paper gold. So if you buy at low, then when the gold price shoot up, then you sell, then that's where you make your profit. Okay, you can just go to their respective websites, CMB, UOB, to get the indicative pricing. Okay, this is the important part, Bursa FGLD. Because I don't see a lot of people actually trading through here because I think because of the awareness. Okay, as you can see that futures gold is actually offering current month, spot month, and the first 3 months, and even months, not more than 12 months. And then the spread is actually quite good. You can see that it's about 70 cents only. In comparison to previous, what they offer is about $4 to $7 spread. So I would say actually buying through FGLD is always the best spread in Malaysia. It's always within the 70 cents, 1 ringgit range. But of course, when you go for the farther contract away, then the type will be wider. Of course, this is usually a concept for the futures. Okay. Okay, another one's buy gold abroad through ETF, exchange traded fund. Exchange traded fund is actually a collective investment schemes. They actually mimic the price movement of particular products, for example, commodities, golds or stocks. So this one is only one in Malaysia, which is by Fung management. So you can buy through here. Okay, that's in the Malaysia gold market, but just a quick one. Malaysia gold reserve right now is at the current of 38.9 ton reserve for the gold reserve. And in terms of international, we look at this chart showing to you 2017 and 2018 of the comparison, the gold and supply and demand in the global market. So gold demand in the global market, jewelry is always the top one. Then we can see that investment, then technology and others. Okay, comparison. So yearly is about 4,000 tons supply and demand throughout the world. Okay. And then if you do a comparisons to Q1 2018 and Q1 2019, you can see that the important I want to show you is the central bank, a huge drastic increase. So which will be elaborated later on the gold outlook. Okay, this is a bar chart showing you all the jewelry's demands based on the color here showing. So jewelry is always the top choice for gold in the global market. And you can see that this is the technology for the dentistry and electronics. Then you can see investments and central bank buying and selling. Okay, okay, next. Top 40 reported official gold holdings. You can see that state is always at the top, about 8,000 ton in the reserve. Then we have Germany, and important is the Russia and China. They actually bought a lot of gold lately. Okay, and then we can see down to Indonesia. So we're actually quite far away, even from comparison to Singapore. It's about 127 gold reserve. Okay, this is the next slide. Jewelry demands in selected countries. Okay, this is trying to show you that which country actually to buy a lot of jewelries in comparison yearly from 2010 to 2018. So the top one used to be India in the range of 600 plus tons. Then we have second would be China, but now after 2013, right, China actually overtaken India as the top consumer for jewelry. You can see that 1,000 tons, 800 plus tons. But one of the reasons India actually jump into number 2 spot is because of this Modi. They actually they imposed this import tax of 10% and also this GST 3%. And lately they actually increased another 12.5% on the import tax. So for someone to buy gold in India, they have to pay extra 15.5%. So that's the reasons China actually show up to the spot of number 1 of the jewelries. Okay. And in terms of Middle East, you can see that Saudi Arabia, UAE is a very strong demand over there. And then we have Turkey, you can see that it's about 50 tons average per year. Of course, not to mention States is in the range of 120 tons yearly demands for these jewelries. Okay. All right, international market in terms of ETF, exchange traded funds, we can see that North America actually famous of buying gold through the ETF. And then Europe seems to be increased drastically lately. But Asia-wise, not so famous on ETF. So what they do is probably they just buy physical. And others, it's less, getting less. Okay. All right, as for market outlook, lately I think I don't have to remind you all that of the current trade war and currency war. The trade war issue is about China and US. Because of this, it created a global fear and caused the gold price to surge to the 6-year peaks of at about 1,439, I think last month. It shot up to that area. And also dovish outlooks from the US Federal Reserve. I think they're trying to reduce the interest rates as per the current situations. So they will actually, the investor will tend to buy more gold in this process because they worry about the US economy and sort of hedge off against the US dollar. Central bank, I'm going to show you the graph later, and also US election in year 20 and 20. So we can do early projections on the US elections because this will affect the gold price as well. So for those of you who want to project what will be the range of the gold price next year, you can actually see what will be the likelihood of Democrats against Republicans. Alright, gold scale near 6-year peaks on dovish Federal signal. Once they reduce the federal funds rate, right, so this will make the borrowing become cheaper. So people tend to borrow more money and to buy on the gold side. And of course, we have this steady as US-China trade concern persist. But because of the G20 last month, they have this trade negotiation, so the gold price actually tend to drop from the peak. Okay. And also, China is buying gold, dumping dollar asset as trade war with US escalates. But because of the last month G20, so now seems to be back on the normal track right now. Okay. Who bought 200,000 ounces of gold just before it surged? Actually, it's called Russia. Russia has been buying a lot of gold. They're trying to hedge off their rubles actually. Okay, this is the graph showing that the increase of reserve from the China and Russia. You can see this. Russia gold reserve increasing drastically. So central bank is buying. So when central bank is buying, right, it's in tons. So it provided a very strong support for gold. Okay, you can see that China also been buying drastically. But Russia is the number one right now, buying a lot of gold. Central banks are going after gold in 2019 because they worry about the growth, slow trade, geopolitical tensions, and also trying to diversify the dollars. So this is extracted from Bloomberg. You can see where the purchase is almost like 74 tons, a huge number for this. Okay, US elections, who's going to win the election next year? This could definitely make a volatility tradings for gold next year. So we can do an early projection from this. Alright, in terms of gold methodology, just trying to show you that USD index. Okay, USD index is measurements of USD strength against a basket of currency. So when you do a comparison here, when weakenings of USD and it's an inverse relationship, the gold price will tend to go up. So for those of you who would like to do a forecast on gold price, you can look into the strength of the USD. Okay. Next, range bound. Okay, I'm sorry because it's too small to see the fonts here, but I'm trying to say that gold price from 2015 to current 2019, actually it traded range bound in the range of 1,150 to 1,400. So it stayed in the range of 300 range. So what I'm trying to emphasize here is that whenever it hits to the peak, for example, around 1,400 range, the gold price will tend to come down. So right now it hit around 1,415. So it's actually a good place to actually to hedge off this area. But when I say hedge off, I'm not trying to give you all hints to go and short the gold next week. But this is based on my perception as a trader. So I'm just sharing with you all, but not influence you. Okay. And another hints to show you will be on the seasonal buying. You can see that on almost fourth quarter of every year, the gold price tend to shoot up. Okay, you can look at this fourth quarter of 2015, and then you can look at this almost fourth quarter of 2016. It's always on the upwards. Okay, you can see that fourth quarter of 2017, it also shoot up. And then another fourth quarter of 2018 also tend to shoot up. Even now we talk about also tend to shoot up. So this is like a methodology. So also not a tips for you all, just showing you all past performance of the gold. Okay, next one will be hyped quantitative easing. Okay, 2010 is the introduction of quantitative easing, printing of free money. So the gold actually surged up to 1,900 range. But what I'm trying to tell here is that whenever it hit the peaks, gold also tend to fall very quickly because people want to get the money out to buy equity and stocks. Okay. Another one will be the Brexit. So when there is a Brexit news in 2016, you can see that the gold price was surged to very high. But at the end of the day, it also fall very quickly. So I'm trying to say that whenever it hits particular peaks, it tends to fall. Okay, this is information on the FGLD forward pricing. So this is the current contracts, July 19. And the farther away the contract will be tend to higher. This is just a quick mentioning only. I just want to show you this one. Last year, July, the price is traded in ringgit Malaysia is in the range of 165, and then it surged up to 187 ringgit right now traded. Okay, so traded in ringgit Malaysia actually affected by USD. So as long as USD maintain as this range around 4.1, and if the gold price tend to shoot higher, so it will actually benefit local gold price will tend to be higher traded in ringgit Malaysia. All right, U.S. Treasury yield. U.S. Treasury is the interest rates that the U.S. government pay to borrow money for a specific length of time. So this is trying to show you that also another inverse relationship. You can see that when the Treasury yield go lower, the gold price tend to go higher. So what I'm trying to tell here is that Treasury yield, the higher the Treasury yield, the better the U.S. economy and also good for the USD. So if it's go down, then the gold price will tend to be up. So this is also another methodology, inverse relationships. Okay. All right, forecast for 2019 on gold. This is actually from LBMA website. So every year they will do a forecast where would be the directions of the gold. So there will be few experts actually give the view, but I'm sorry because of the font size. But what I'm trying to say here is the average low will be at 1,220 per troy ounce, and the mid-range will be 1,311, and of course the high will be at 1,405, which already hits above that. So at the moment, the gold price is at very high right now. So it's at the peak. So I'm foreseeing the gold price to actually back off into 1,320 area. But this is not trying to influence you, this is based on a trade